Hi everybody, welcome back to Cooking with Katrina. Today we are going to be doing our December show. We are going to be doing Christmas cookies, my favorite. So I did a show last year. We do an annual cookie swap party at my mother's house every year to kick off the holiday season right after Thanksgiving. So we're gonna be doing that, a tradition, and to help me with that today, I brought my sister Erika on the show with me. And we're gonna both be making a cookie that we would be making at our cookie swap party. So first we're gonna start off, I'm gonna scoot back over here, and I am going to start just quickly. We're gonna be making a little appetizer to put out. We like to eat along with baking with all the ladies. So we're going to be doing a brie, a baked brie, and we're gonna be topping that with a maple syrup, candied pecan kind of sauce over it. And then we're gonna have some bread that you're gonna put it on. So quickly, you're gonna wanna preheat your oven to 350 because we need to cook the brie. So we're just gonna unwrap the brie, and we are going to, I'm using a 16 ounce, you can use an 8 ounce, it totally doesn't matter, but I just like the big one. So we're gonna put that on a baking sheet, and we are gonna pop this in the oven for about 15-20 minutes. So I can't remember if I've used brie on the show before, but there is a film that kind of looks like paper over the brie cheese. That's not paper, in case anyone hasn't actually used this before. That is supposed to be there, just so you know. I've had people try and peel it off before. Don't peel it off. So we're just gonna put this in the oven, and we are going to put the timer on. Okay, so that's on for 15. So now while that's cooking, we're gonna go over here to what I call the fun side. Today it's my sister's side, and she is gonna show you how to make the dough for the cookies that she's making. So I'm gonna let her explain that to you, and I'm gonna go back over here and get some stuff ready.
Okay, so we're going to make a chocolate sandwich cookie that's going to be filled with a cream cheese filling and some raspberry jam. So to start the cookie off, you need room temperature butter so it's nice and soft. And we're going to just add 1 stick of butter into a mixer fitted with a paddle attachment. And we're going to add to that about 1/4 a cup of granulated sugar. And you're going to just mix that until it's nice and fluffy on a medium speed. Okay. You're gonna just stop it for a sec. We're gonna add in some more ingredients. We're gonna add in 1 egg yolk, just the yolk. We're gonna add in 1/2 a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And we're gonna add in about 2 ounces of melted chocolate. You can melt it however you want in the microwave, a double boiler, that's my preferred method. That's gonna be about 1/4 a cup of the chips, if you're gonna use the chips of unsweetened chocolate. I always throw in a couple extra chips just to make sure I have enough, since obviously it sticks to the bowl a lot. Okay. And you're going to mix that at medium speed again until that's nice and incorporated. You might have to stop it, just get it off the side so we make sure everything's getting mixed well. Okay. Now you're going to add a mixture of flour, unsweetened cocoa powder, and a little bit of salt. You're going to need 3/4 a cup of flour, 1/4 a cup of the cocoa powder, and 1/4 a teaspoon of the salt. Just mix it ahead of time. I've already mixed it. You're just going to whisk it just to incorporate it all together. And we're just going to add that into the mixer at a slow speed. So add just a little at a time, otherwise you're going to have powder flying everywhere. A little bit, and keep adding it, just small increments. Okay. You can pick up the speed a little bit once most of the powder is starting to get absorbed into the dough. That way it's not going to be flying everywhere. Okay. So what it makes is this really soft, gooey dough here. So you're going to have to refrigerate it. Otherwise, it's going to be too soft to actually form into the balls that we need to make the cookies with. So you kind of just get it all off the paddle there, and we're going to form it into one big ball in the bowl, because otherwise what happens if you leave it how it is, it ends up getting where the stuff that's stuck to the bowl just ends up crusting up in the fridge. So you want to push it all into a nice big ball. And then you're going to put that in the fridge for about 20 to 40 minutes. Make sure you put a cover over it, otherwise the air from the fridge will crust up the top layer of the dough. So I actually already have some that I already did up. So now it's a little bit harder compared to the soft dough before we refrigerated it. So I like to make them at about 1 inch big. You're going to just form a little ball in your hand. Then we're going to flatten it out. Kind of just go around the sides, just reshaping it so it's a circle. And I do this in the oven. I'm at 350 for about 8 to 10 minutes. All ovens vary. And the important thing is that you want to make sure you use either a silicone mat or parchment paper so that it doesn't stick. We'll just do up a few of those. Okay, and then they go in the oven again at 350.
So those look good. So now that she showed you how to do this, we're gonna go over to my side and I'm gonna do the cookies that I'm making, and then we're gonna go back to her and she's going to do the filling with you. So the cookies that I'm gonna make are actually a cookie that I grew up having. It's a cookie that my mom's made since I was little. It's one of my favorite Christmas cookies. It's one of my dad's favorite Christmas cookies. They are little walnut balls covered in powdered sugar, but they're delicious. So we're gonna make these walnut cookies. So what you're gonna need for this is 2 cups of flour. We've got everything measured out already, so we're gonna put that in. This cookie recipe doesn't call for any eggs, so it's clean that way, I guess. You don't need to do that. So we've got 2 cups of flour, and we have a 1/4 cup of sugar, and you also need a 1/4 of a teaspoon of salt. They're in there together. We just pre-measured, so we're just gonna put that in here. We need 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, pre-measured, put right there. And 1 cup of melted butter, which is equivalent to 2 sticks. Dump that right in. And then last but not least, 2 cups of chopped walnuts. So you can buy the chopped walnuts at the store, or if you happen to get the non-chopped walnuts, what I do is put them in a food processor and kind of pulse it a couple times and they chop up. You want them kind of fine because of how we're going to be rolling these out. So make sure they're just not big chunks. So now what we're going to do is we are going to take the mixer and we are just going to mix this all together. I don't know if you can hear me over the mixer or not, but when I was trying to figure out what cookie I was gonna make, we make so many cookies because this is a tradition we have at my house that we've been doing since we were little girls. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna make Mom's walnut balls because I love them and they're delicious. Okay, so basically, you just want to make sure that all of the butter and everything is incorporated together. So now what we're going to do is, once it kind of looks like this and it's all, you know, still kind of crumbly, we're going to take our hands and we're going to roll them into a ball. And I have some pre-cooked. We didn't have time on the show, obviously, to cook everybody's cookies and cook the appetizer in the oven. So I've got some pre-cooked, so what I'm going to do quickly is just show you kind of what you would like the little ball to kind of look like. So we're just gonna grab a little handful, kind of put it together like this. And the only way to describe this is kind of like when you're making a meatball. You kind of wanna like mush it around and then you kind of wanna roll. So that is what we're gonna do. So like this. I don't know if you can see the little ball there. So you want it to look like this. And you're just going to line them up on a cookie tray, cookie sheet, and you are going to bake them at 350 for about 25 to 30 minutes. So you want to keep an eye on them. They're going to start getting, it's a dry cookie, so you're going to notice they're starting to get crisp, and they're going to look kind of like they're cracking through the cookie. That's what they're supposed to do. So that is perfect. So once they're done and they are out of the oven, you're going to put them on a rack to cool. And then once they are cooled, we are going to roll them in some powdered sugar. And that's what we're going to do right now, is roll them in some powdered sugar. So we've got some ones that I did up before we came. And we are literally going to take a cookie and we're going to roll it in the powdered sugar and get them all nicely coated in the powdered sugar. And like I said, these are delicious. They are one of my favorite Christmas cookies. They're just so good. And to be honest, I love powdered sugar. So the more powdered sugar, the better. You could sprinkle it on, but we like to just roll it right on here and get it nice and coated. So I'm just going to do a couple more of these. And then we are going to go back over to Erika, and she's going to show you how to do the filling. And while she's doing that, I'm going to continue with this. So we're going to come over here, and it looks like she's all set to do the filling. So I'm going to let her do the filling with you and get those together. And I'm going to go back over here and powder these. And then once she's done with that, we'll be ready to come back over and do the appetizer.
Okay, so next we're gonna take powdered sugar, about 3/4 a cup to 1 cup of powdered sugar, and we're gonna take room temperature cream cheese, a whole 8 ounces of it. Mix these together. We're gonna add in a teaspoon of lemon juice. And we're just gonna mix that by hand. At first it's gonna be a little rough, especially if your cream cheese isn't that room temperature, but the more you work it, the better it will mix in. It's nice and creamy. Okay. Just try and get some of the sugar that gets to the bottom of the bowl and mix that on. And the importance of it is to get it so the cream cheese is nice and sweet. Okay. Okay. It should be good. So next we're going to assemble the cookies. So we're going to take 2 cookies and we're going to spread the cream cheese on each of the cookies because it's important to get the cream cheese layer because the jam that we're going to be putting in the middle will kind of soften up, soggy up your cookie. So you want the cream cheese stacked as a barrier. And I like it with the thicker amounts of cream cheese. Some people don't want it, they want a little thinner layer. So I got one. Let's do another. And it is, if you are using a cream cheese filling when you're making sandwich cookies, it's important to use a dry cookie, which is what this one is. It's not really a chewy, soft cookie, because even though the cream cheese doesn't have as much moisture as the jam, it is a little bit more moisture than like a regular, like a buttercream frosting. So you don't want to have soggy cookies. So we're going to do 2 sides. And I've just got a seedless raspberry jam. Put a little dollop here. Okay. You just bring them together, smush it down a bit, and we'll just sprinkle a little bit of powdered sugar on top of that, just for appearance. And that is a chocolate sandwich cookie with raspberry and cream cheese filling. I'm just going to make a few more of these, but it's pretty good. Okay. Sounds like Katrina's Brie is ready to come out.
I'm gonna actually let that sit in there just for a minute, and I'm gonna start the sauce that we're gonna put on top of this, and then I'm gonna kind of take that out, set it here, let it cool for a second, and then I'm gonna kind of let Erika show me how to do the filling on one of her cookies while this cooks down. So this is gonna go on top of the brie. So we need some maple syrup. We're actually gonna put our stove on like medium high. So we want about half a cup or so of maple syrup, half a cup to a cup. I would say maybe half a cup to a cup, you can pick it, but we're using the bigger brie. So let me just see. Okay, this is beefing at me. So we've got this on, we're just gonna wanna warm this. So we've got the maple syrup, and then we're gonna do about 2 tablespoons of brown sugar to sweeten it up even a little bit more. We can get it out. Brown sugar kind of has a tendency to form together. So we're gonna put the brown sugar right in there. I just need to, there we go. Okay. Put that over here. We are just gonna stir that quickly. And this isn't gonna take too long. We're just gonna kind of let this just get warm and cook up kind of until the sugar dissolves a little bit. So we're also gonna need I've got 2 packages, 3.5 ounce packages of honey roasted pecans. You don't need to get the honey roasted ones. I just like them. So we're gonna put those in here. Both packages. Open those right up. And once we put them in, we are going to stir this a little bit, get those coated in here, and then we're just gonna let it cook just for a few minutes just to get really warm and let the flavors kind of all mix together here. All right, that's all set. So I'm gonna quickly go and grab the brie out of the oven so it can start cooling down. We don't want this too hot. Okay. Let that sit there just for a second. Close the oven. And I think, and you want to keep an eye on this because this is kind of bubbling a little bit. Just want to keep stirring it around. So what we're going to do is, I think, to let the brie cool, we are actually going to put the brie right on this platter that I brought, which is what we're going to do the appetizer on. Set this right here, and we are going to scoop and set that right down and let it cool off there for a minute, because then we're going to top it with that in just a second. That's it there. Now this is still getting warm, so we're going to put that on low. Now we're just going to go over here and I'm going to have Erika show me how she fills one of her cookies.
Okay. You just take the cream cheese frosting again.
They look really good. I'm going to have to eat one when we're done.
I think we know with you, Katrina, it's never just one.
I might eat 2 or 3. They're small, so you can have as many as you want. The holidays are coming. So you coat both sides
with the cream cheese because you don't want it to get soggy. The way I think about it is like a PB&J sandwich. You don't want to make your PB&J the night before because the side that the jelly is on is going to make it all sogged up. So you just do 2 sides. And just some more of the jelly.
Perfect. Yeah, these look really good. So are you making these at our cookie party next weekend at the house? Potentially.
Probably.
Now that everyone's going to see it on TV, everyone's going to want her to make them.
Do that, and then I just sprinkle it with a little powdered sugar just for appearance.
Perfect. It looks delicious. So do you want to scoot it up there so everybody can see? And now we're going to turn our stove off. Stir this up quick. We are going to scoot this down here. I'm going to scoop my cookies up to the front. Those are all powdered and done. Delicious. And now what we're going to do is just pour this, and it's going to go everywhere, and that's okay. Right on top. I want everything right there. And then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to serve this with some bread or some crackers. I got a French baguette just because I really like the bread. So you're just going to want to slice that into thin slices. I'm not going to set them right in there just because they're gonna get soaked with the maple syrup. We don't wanna do that. I should have brought another plate. But basically, like this, thin little slices, kind of like a crostini. And then put them out, and everyone is just going to, see, you can see the brie cheese, it's very gooey, so good. So everyone's just gonna take a little slice out of it with a scoop, and then they would spread it on top of the bread. So that is about it for today, our holiday episode. So we have the walnut ball cookies, and we have Erika's, what did you call them?
Chocolate sandwich cookies with cream cheese and raspberry filling.
Her chocolate sandwich cookies, and then we have this maple syrup candied pecan topped brie that is looking really delicious, and I think we're gonna dig into it in a second. I would do it right now if we had maybe we'll do it right now. We have a minute left. So let me get a little, excuse me, Erika, I'm just gonna scoot in here. Just gonna get the spoon. I'm sure everybody has like a cheese knife. That's more or less kind of what you're probably gonna be using for it. We're just gonna try it with this. So we are going to take a little bit and just spread it right on top. I'm gonna get a lot of this stuff on it. Perfect, delicious. So thank you everybody for watching, and we will see you next time, and I hope everybody has a great holiday. So, and I wanted to thank Erika for coming on with me. It was a lot of fun, and we will see you next time.